Hello everybody, I'm Corbin Hostler, this is Mining Modern, and this is Twiddle Storm. So, if Get Your Taxi Probe got banned, I'm sure everyone knows that by now, and it basically, in addition to slowing down Infect and Death Shadows, aggro, the Zoo decks, those sort of things where Get Your Taxi Probe is really just an unfair card, it also killed Storm. Not that Storm was good necessarily at any point recently, but it was really the nail in the coffin of that archetype. Or was it? See what I did there? We can still play Storm. It looks a lot different. It's a lot more fun. So what we have here is Twiddle Storm. If you don't know what it's named after, it's this card called Twiddle that was in 7th edition, 8th edition, 10th. I don't know the last time it was printed, but it's illegal in Modern. You can untap target artifact, creature, or land. Turns out there's a lot of cards to do this in Modern. For instance, Dream's Grip. You can tap or untap permanents. Hidden Strings. Tap or untap a permanent, and tap or untap another. It even has Cipher. So that's Psychic Puppetry. This is a good one we'll get to later. This is in here as well. So we can untap or tap a bunch of stuff. So what does that mean? Well, we need to make mana. And of course, if you've played Storm, regular Storm, Pyromancer, Ascension Storm, you know that making mana is sort of the key to everything happening. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Utopia Sprawl. We're going to play Fertile Ground. We're going to play Overgrowth. And we're going to put them on a land, preferably this basic forest we've got over here. And we're going to load up this forest with a bunch of enchantments that make mana. We're going to tap our forest for a bunch of mana. We're going to untap it with one of these untap cards. We're going to make more mana, and we're going to produce mana that way. We're going to dig through our deck with Sleight of Hand, Serum Vision, this Telling Time, Ideas Unbound, which is a really nice one. It's an arcane spell. Draw 3, discard 3 with being in the next end step. So we're going to make a bunch of mana off of one land, untapping it, and we're going to draw a bunch of cards. And we're going to do those things together. Of course, Metamorphosis is great in the deck, as it is in all these decks. But we're going to make a bunch of mana this way. And in the end, we're going to Grape Shot somebody. We're playing Storm. And you get your Storm count up to 20 or whatever. And you just kill them. So Gifts Ungiven really ties it all together. There's a lot of packages you can get, obviously, involving Past and Flames. That makes it so your opponent basically has no options. They have to give you what you want, and you're able to go off. The deck can win on turn 3. You can go turn 1 land Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Fertile Ground. Turn 3, you have something like 5 mana without using any effects. So you can just start drawing through your deck. Eventually kill them with a Grape Shot. Moving on to the sideboard, you've got Giga Drowse for the control opponents, Defense Grid for them as well, Echoing Truth for ley lines, Ancient Grudges for the matchups where it's relevant. There's Graveyard Hate, they'll get in against you. They'll crumple to dust, and Fog for Infect, Super Aggro, that sort of stuff. So that's our deck. It's pretty silly, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not jank, because it's pretty janky, but it's also hilarious. I've won on turn 3 multiple times with this deck. So the card I said I'd get back to, Psychic Puppetry. This is cool. It's one of the worst of the untap effects, because you'll notice these two cost, well, the Dream Grip and the Twiddle, they only cost 1 mana. The Hidden Strings cost 2, but it'll untap 2 lands for you. This costs 2 and it only untaps 1, so that's why we only have 1. But what is sweet is you can splice onto Arcane. So you can splice it onto an Ideas Unbound, which is actually pretty awesome. It's an arcane spell. So what splice means is when we cast Ideas Unbound, we can pay 1 blue, put this onto it, and it'll add that effect. So for 3 mana, we get to untap our thing and draw 3 cards. And of course, you discard at the end of the turn, but we plan on winning by the end of the turn. So that's the deck. The deck is awesome. The deck is fun. I don't know how many games we're going to win, but we're going to do our best here with it. So let's give it a go.